Hello and welcome back to Mad Mouse Games. Today I'm going to be painting a bunch of these Gatormen looking things from the Reaper Bones 5 fan favorite expansion. So, just going to briefly talk about them. If you don't want to watch the whole process, you can kind of skip toward the end and I'll show you some of the kind of highlights from the video and you can see what they all turned out and look like. But go ahead and get started here. As you can see here, I just did a base coat on just about everything. Luckily, it was pretty easy to base coat these because 90% of the figure is green. So it was pretty nice. Just go in there, slather the paint on, and then get to it. So, like always, I don't prime. Just started with a base coat. Just using my little paintbrushes and craft paints because I don't think it takes a lot to paint minis. And it's something that's fairly easy to get into and takes a long time to perfect, which is hopefully something that I'll do by the time I'm done painting everything from the Bones sets that I bought. So, anyways, there's four of these guys. They're all pretty cool looking. They're all kind of large, although the bases are kind of small. So you could probably use them as lizard folk if you don't mind your lizard folk being ginormous looking on your table. I mean, these are probably twice as tall as like player characters or most player figures, I guess you could say. But in the end, these guys ended up looking pretty good. I thought they weren't too bad. One thing I really liked about these ones was the spear guy and this sword guy here. They both had blades, and I wanted to make them look like obsidian because all these weapons seem kind of crude. The maces and stuff are just wood with things tied to them and things of that nature. And so I really wanted it to look like obsidian because that's what a lot of ancient cultures used to use as blades and things like that because it was not easy to make, but it was nice and sharp. So I really wanted it to make it look that way, and I thought it ended up looking really good. You'll see that later. I'll talk about it a little bit in the highlights and at the very end of the video when I kind of do a summary of everything that happened. But just base coating these guys, use nice big paintbrush. That's one thing that I've really learned over the past couple of months is, base coating can take forever if you want it to. But I think the really important thing is just get it on there as quick as possible. And so using a nice big brush to do it is a good idea. Um, and helps get it done much, much quicker. So that's one thing that's really good about these minis, I think, is that I haven't had to actually prime any of these yet. And being able to just plop that base coat on there, slather it on, makes it real easy to um, move forward, get these things done quick, and not really worry too much. In the future, I'll do primer comparison videos and things like that, but for now, I'm just going to stick with doing it the way I'm doing it, work with those craft paints that I use, and just try and improve my skill with those, because I think if I can get really good with craft paints, if I ever go and get, actual Reaper paints or Citadel paints or whatever, I think that you know, it'll be a lot easier to learn how to use those and to really perfect them if they're able to help you, do better at painting or however you want to say that. So, now one thing about these guys that I kind of regret is that my camera footage for the wash kind of got deleted in the last half of the base coating. But as you can see here, these guys have been um, washed really heavily at this point, and I thought they ended looking pretty dang good after just a wash. But of course, I always like to go back in, highlight, and really make the miniature pop. So here I just did a dry brush, a heavy dry brush with green on all the minis to just bring out those bumps in their skin and bring out the ridges and things on their tails and over their eyes and things like that. And after the dry brush, I went back through and just picked out a whole bunch of highlights. I'll talk a little bit about highlighting the like the obsidian blades and things like that. I'll come back and talk about that in the highlights. But for now, I'll just let you watch the video and we'll come back and talk a little bit more at the end of the video during the highlight section, where I just kind of go through and talk about everything really quickly. And so I'll just let you enjoy me highlighting these for now, and I'll talk to you later. Alright, I'm back for the end. So I just wanted to go over the highlights really quick. This is kind of the basic base coat, what they look like afterwards. Nothing too fancy or anything like that. A lot of green. Just slathered on there nice and quick, and it went pretty easily on there. And then, of course, the next step is you always do wash, and this is kind of what they look like after the wash. You can really see how the wash soaked into those cracks in their skin, made it look really, really good. And then I just wanted to talk a little bit about highlighting. One of the things I thought that turned out really good on these minis was the obsidian blades and the obsidian spearhead. And so what I did was just painted them all black, and then I came back through on some of the ridges and hit them with just a little bit of white, kind of like I did with the glass vials on the cultist that I painted in one of my earlier videos, where I talked about painting glass. And you can kind of see it here as this miniature rotates, how the spearhead is really, really shiny and reflecting the light. And that's because I put a nice gloss varnish on there. But the other thing I did was with that white paint, even if the gloss of varnish isn't being hit and shiny like that, those white highlights really stick out and make it look like it's a little bit more shiny. I mean, you can see here the obsidian blade looks really good in my opinion. Another thing I was really proud of on these guys was their eyes. Eyes is something I've been trying to work on a little bit, and I thought all these guys' eyes turned out really good. And part of the reason why is because their eyes are quite a bit bigger, so it was easier to get a dab of white paint in there and just a small, tiny smidgen of black in there for the pupil. And I thought it ended up looking really good. So thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and if you want anything else that you want to see painted, leave me a comment, and I try and answer all comments that happen because right now there's not a whole lot. So if you leave a comment, I'll probably reply to you. But again, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.